listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while loving a golden retriever and judging fictional ex-boyfriends real hard. Hey HBs, I'm so glad you're back for part 2. Before we get to that though, I've got some absolutely incredible patrons to shout out. So hey, thank you for your support, and make sure you drink some water today. Stephanie L, Rebecca P, Aaron, and Rachel. When we left you yesterday, Everett and Raleigh were on their way to the wedding and had just stopped for a rest area hookup. Maybe that wasn't their intent when they stopped, but boy, that's certainly where we got. That's where we're picking up the story. Here we go. Okay. Actually, can I read you the verbatim line? Because I am so fucking close. It's wild.
Melody, we don't do quotes on this podcast. Yeah,
I read you an entire tirade.
Of course you can read the fucking quote.
It says, like generations of gay men before us, I'm going to suck you dry in a rest stop bathroom stall. How close was I? I was like Melody, 2 words off.
I'm not shocked by that.
I am.
In what world am I? You're shocked? How many times have I given you shit? You're like, yeah, they said something like blah, 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 blah. And then I'm reading the quote as you are basically word for word describing it. And then because usually that's followed up by me being like, hey, Mel.
Hey,
how many times have you read this book? Over there? How many times?
Okay.
Continue.
Are you asking me that right now here in front of all our friends?
Yeah, now I am.
I think twice. Only twice.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's low.
I really liked it. It might have been 3 times. I don't know.
You fascinate me. I'm pretty sure people are always shocked by how many books I read because it's all different titles. So it shows up. But like, I think that you and I I think you read more books than I do per year.
No.
It's just not.
There's no way.
Different
They're
books.
just not different books.
I legitimately think you might read more books than I do, which is incredible because I average like 320 minimum a year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, sometimes I read Bone King and the Starling 5 times. Maybe was it 6? We don't know. We're not sure. Is all that happens.
God, you do. You read more books than I do.
There's no fucking way.
I'm gonna fucking install a goddamn tracker on your phone to fucking tell me when you start a book and finish a book.
Heaving bosom surveillance state.
Yeah.
I'm all about it because I won't track it myself. Somebody else has to track it.
I mean, to be fair though, I don't feel like coding that, so I won't be. And I know that if I said I need you to text me every time you start a book, you won't. So
no,
I also won't care. I'll forget that you texted me. Anyway, continue.
Okay, so this blowjob scene starts with Everett saying, like Sir Walter Raleigh himself, this Raleigh laid down his quilted vest on the floor for my knees. It's the best. It makes me so
Who's
happy.
Sir Walter Raleigh?
He's like a knight.
Oh, okay.
He's like, he's like a hero from old. Let me find out who exactly he is. Hold on. I know.
You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm just gonna accept it.
Yeah, he was an English statesman in like Shakespeare times.
Okay. You literally didn't need to look it up. I was like this was my, what was that ride or die you did? The door keyhole.
Yeah, door keyhole
thing. Yeah,
turning.
something. Yeah, continue.
Okay, so then he goes down on him like crazy. It's so good. And when they were going into the stall, they were sort of like bumping around the lobby trying to like figure out how to get there while still kissing and groping each other and stuff. And so as they come out, they see like a bunch of brochures and stuff on the ground. And then a scouting group comes in. And one of the guys is like, what kind of hooligans are just putting all these things on the ground and then walking away? Like,
are the things on the ground because they slammed into something and it fell?
Okay. Yeah. God, it's so cute. He says, do people have no respect for public property? And then they trade, like, really red-faced
looks like that. Oh, fuck, that's us.
Yeah. Oh, and then he looks at them and he's like, did you see who did this? He's like, no, it was like that when we came in. Mm-hmm. And then he says, Everett thinks to himself, Raleigh and I traded a red-faced look. It was an accident, a casualty in a sex tornado. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then there's another point where he's like, these people are so disrespectful and all this stuff. And then he thinks to himself, or maybe they were just incredibly horny and not watching where they were going, essentially.
Hey, look, we've all been there.
We've all been there. Yes. So one of the tidbits that I hadn't told you about before is that when he was talking to his drama troupe the day that the sign-up sheet was defaced, they were like, well, what play are we going to do? And he was like, we're going to do You're a Good Friend, Charlie Brown again, because they did it last year. And the kids are like so disappointed. But he has no budget and he barely has anybody auditioning and interested. Yeah. And so he doesn't know how he's going to put on a new thing. But after seeing all of their crestfallen faces, he's like, joke's on you. I got you so good. We're going to do Into the Woods, which is a notoriously elaborate show in both cast and set and costume and vocal range that you need to do that show is bananas. And he's just like, why did that come out of my mouth?
Why did you pick that one?
Right?
Of all of the things you could have done.
What?
That's
why am I
one
like
of
this?
The worst.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's been one of the things that he's like freaking out about now as well. It's like another layer. So they talk to these like scout leaders. It's like a gay couple scout leader. It's so cute. And one of them is a voice actor who's like on the radio a lot. So they make friends with them and then they go and on their way out, they're like holding hands out to the car, which Everett is very confused as to why Raleigh would grab his hand when there's nobody to impress, remember? And Cal, the guy who's the voiceover artist, he looks at him and he's like, I mean, just be careful that you don't upstage the brides. And they're like, what? He's like, yeah, you're going to be the cutest, most lovey-doveyest couple because you two are just wonderful together. And then they leave. And both Raleigh and Everett are standing there going, blink, blink, blink. Like they don't know what to do. So they get to the hotel, all right? And Everett's like, I'm going to go check us in. You stay right there. And Raleigh says, I'm staying right here. I'm not going to move because he's such a golden retriever and it's adorable. Mm-hmm. Then when Everett finally turns around again after he's done, he sees that Raleigh is not alone. He's just over there holding court with a bunch of his theater friends. And he's telling them all about like how they finally got together. And he's saying that like, yeah, it was this day when he was like, Everett, you're the most interesting, most like cool guy I know. And I think that we should at least get coffee. So he's regaling them with this story. And he's like, and I remember I was so nervous. I was putting a football from one hand to the other. Cause like this guy he knows Shakespeare and he's like so
I can
cool.
Picture it too. Like him, like the awkward like potato of like pop, pop, pop. Like you need to be doing something with your hands. And you're just like, hey.
And his hands were so sweaty. He thought he was going to drop the football. ugh. And so then Everett is overhearing this from the back of the crowd, and he's like, wait, I remember this conversation that we had. We were just talking about something else.
This is a real conversation.
It's a real memory of Raleigh being like nervous but really interested in talking to Everett. I know. Oh, it's the best.
Oh God, that's so cute.
It's so cute.
Continue.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, one of the things that's happening for the wedding, the two brides, one is a playwright and the other is a director who directs all of her stuff, right? So they're this power couple in the off Broadway world. So they've decided that instead of a ceremony, they're going to stage a play of like all of their like pivotal moments in their relationship. And then the ceremony is going to sort of be woven into that. Mm-hmm. And they've got this monologue for Everett, which he's very excited about it. He loves a monologue. And then they're standing there and Jordana, the playwright, looks at Raleigh and she's like, Raleigh, God, I just love your energy so much. And I'm so inspired. Like, I don't know. I wrote a monologue for Everett, but what if I rewrite it to be a 2-person scene? And then you can be in the scene with Everett. And Raleigh's like, oh, I have no acting experience whatsoever. And she's like, no, you've just got the best energy and you've got the most beautiful, shining gold soul. And I think you just have to do this for us. And he's like, okay, sure. Like, I can do that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, what? And Everett's just sort of like secretly face palming, being like, ugh, he's going to be insufferable now. Because people are telling him about his presence.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. Like, me?
What? You want me? So they all get together and they get the scripts, or as Raleigh keeps on referring to it, the playbook. And as they're meeting everyone, they're introducing like the idea of everything and they're telling them like how the practice schedule is going to go and all of that. And then from the back of the amphitheater, they hear a booming voice say, "What is the play and what is my part?" And then everybody turns around and he's like, oh, that's gotta be the ex-Noah. That's gotta be him. So everybody's like fawning over him. He immediately takes over and he's like, we're going to have the best. We're going to eat, drink, and be merry together. And we're going to send them off into matrimony in like the best way possible. Ugh, he's the worst. He's like trying to be fake humble. He's got his twin boyfriend there with him. And the twin boyfriend is like following him around and he sort of mimics his mannerisms, but he doesn't say anything. Mm-hmm. And we find out later that like that's very familiar to Everett. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that happens a lot in the book is that I've said it a couple of times, but like Everett will start rambling about something when he gets nervous or if he just has like a thought. And so everybody will be like, okay, wait, Everett, you're rambling? Let's get back to like home base, you know? But then Raleigh will say like, I like listening to your rambling. And then later on, like in the weekend, he starts...
as a fellow rambler.
Boy.
As a tangential motherfucker, I love an enabler. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love you, Mel.
Yeah. I love you, Sabrina. I love your rambling.
I love your enabling.
Thank you. 2 peas in a pod over here. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So as they're going through the weekend, we're going to see Everett start clocking a lot of things that he hadn't quite internalized in the moment or in the years afterward. Because, of course, there have been times when he's had daydreams about either reconciling or the most recent sort of daydream has been, I want him to want me back so that I can reject him this time. You know, that kind of deal. Oh. Yeah. And Raleigh feels real weird about it in his tummy, you know, most of the time, but he just lets it go. So, oh man, there was another moment earlier where Noah commented on one of the photos they took of Musical Mondays saying like, it's a really cute couple. And Everett doesn't text Raleigh about it. He just goes to football practice and sort of interrupts and they have this whole flirty banter situation. And then Raleigh is like, do you want to do something fun? And then he gets him on one of those blocking, those like row of blocking pads that 4 boys go and run into it. And then it'll only move if like all 4 of them hit it at once or whatever,
Yeah.
It's a blocking sled, I think is what it's called, or a tackle sled or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, he puts Raleigh on top of it and he gets on there with him. And then he has the boys come and Everett says to himself, it's almost like a really sweaty version of that scene in Titanic where she's like, I'm flying, Jack. It's the best.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so cute. Anyway, sorry, that just randomly popped into my head. So we're going to see Everett start realizing that, like, he was much quieter in college than he is now. Mm-hmm. And the biggest reason is because Noah didn't want him talking. He didn't want to listen to him. And as they got deeper into a relationship, the way that Everett molded himself to fit Noah was becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Mm-hmm. And that's something he hasn't quite internalized yet, but he's on the journey for sure. Mm-hmm. So anyway, they hand out all the scripts, and then we see this scene with Everett coaching Raleigh and like directing him on, how to say things in the scene and like the subtext of the scene. Because Raleigh is like, I don't know how this is a pivotal relationship moment. They're just talking about what to order for dinner. It's just like a food ordering thing, but okay, whatever. Maybe it's a big thing for them. And then Everett explains like the subtext and how one is like really ready for being a couple and the other is wanting to stay entrenched in her individualness, And Raleigh's just like, what a goddamn genius. And then Everett says, okay, in the first Fast and the Furious movie. And he breaks down the tension between Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. And like they might be having a normal conversation, but the subtext in all of it is that Paul Walker is an undercover cop. And the more they become friends, like the more turmoil he feels over his job, And then Raleigh's like, I'm sorry, did you just deconstruct the Fast and the Furious? And Everett's like, yeah. He's like, that means you've seen the Fast and the Furious?
Who hasn't?
It's so cute.
That is adorable.
It's so cute. So anyway, then he gets up there and they're practicing their scene with the couple, the playwright and the director. Oh, and Noah and Gavin already had their scene, and Noah has been a fucking nightmare to work with. So he's been like, giving everybody as many notes as the director. One of the couples in the wedding, who is the main character of the play, he keeps on wanting to rewrite lines. He keeps on finding lines that are emotionally confusing for him, and he really needs to like get into it. Gavin will say something that Raleigh thinks is really good, and he's really flushing his characters out. They're like a fully formed being already. And then Noah will like nitpick the way that he does everything until Gavin is just like, Noah, you have to stop this. This is not your play, and like leave me alone. And then he like gets off the stage in a huff, and it's really weird. Also, Noah comes over to talk to them as they're going over their lines together. Yeah. And he really tries his hardest to put Raleigh down. And Raleigh is not having it. And it's
and who's
fantastic. Gavin is the twin boyfriend.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wonderful. And he keeps on bragging about Everett, being like, he is the best director and he's so good at inspiring these kids and he runs an amazing theater department. He's going to put on Into the Woods, And I think that when everybody gets there, they're never going to want to come out of the woods. And he thinks to himself, I have no idea what Into the Woods is about, but I do think that there's probably a forest in it. So I'm just going to go with it. He's so cute.
I love that.
He's so cute. Yeah. He also did the same thing in front of the Cub Scout leaders and like the other professional actor there. Mm-hmm. The voiceover artist being like, yeah, he runs the theater department and he's amazing. And he's like such a good director. And Everett's like,
it's the cutest thing when somebody is incapable of not talking about how fantastic their partner is. I'm just like, tell me all about it. I'm happy to just sit here while you
tell me everything.
Like I love it. Info dump about the love of your life. It's fine.
Oh, it's so good. So anyway, they practice this scene and it's really, really wonderful. Raleigh, who has been terrified because he's only had one acting experience and it was in the 3rd grade and he ended up like crying afterwards because he forgot all of his lines.
Oh no.
So he's been so nervous. But it goes really well and he feels so good about it. And then afterwards, the playwright is like, you know what? The scene needs something at the end. So she, on the fly, writes a monologue for Everett about like wanting this relationship and really like putting the character's feelings out there. And Raleigh is like just making eye contact with Everett as he gives this monologue. And he's like, I can't tell what's him and what's me and what's J and B. And is he talking about this? Does he want us, this relationship? Or, and he just wants to like kiss the daylights out of him, you know? He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I know. So when they drive back to the hotel.
I bet you don't. You sure don't know what to do wrong. I know what
That's
you
right.
should do. I know what you should do.
I do too. It's kiss the daylights out of him. Well, on the way home, it's like totally silent. And Raleigh's like, I think maybe it was just all in my head. You know, like, I don't know. Everett seems really in his head. And I have so many real feelings in this
his
now.
Head because he's desperately hoping that you walk up to him and cradle his face like a football and lean in and say, you were amazing. And then a little smooch that turns into a big smooch that turns into just a full body hold. It's fine. The yearning.
Or maybe a 69. Who knows? You know what I mean? Anyway, so...
Or that.
So Raleigh is like, I'm so in my feelings. And to him, this is just, let's impress my friends. So I got to get my shit together, basically. And he's like, I'm going to go to the gym after, we're back. And then he's so antsy that he can't even get in the elevator with Everett. He decides to take the 4 flights of stairs up because he's just like, he's like vibrating out of his skin.
Not once in my life have I had any emotion that made me choose 4 flights of stairs over an elevator.
Oh, I have. Yeah, I have. For sure. That's definitely happened to me. So when he goes to open the door, he's like, I bet Everett's already sleeping, And when he opens the door, Everett is standing against the hotel room wall wearing only his boxers. And he says, you still want to go to the gym? And Raleigh's like, basically.
The gym is you.
Yeah.
Let's do some
exactly
cardio, baby.
Yeah. And so they do, and they have this like whole sex scene that Everett tries to say is hate sex again. And then Raleigh ends up like making him get on his back as he enters him. And they have this like really intense, beautiful sex scene where they're like staring into each other's eyes and like kissing on each thrust. And like they're just so close and connected emotionally and physically. And it's just gorgeous. And they're giggling randomly, like it's all the things that you want in a really good, connected experience. So then they end up spending the rest of the night in the hotel room, just like they order room service for themselves, even though neither of them has ever done that or even thought about it in their lives because they're both so deliciously frugal. But it's just like they say it's under the umbrella policy of this one time, quote unquote, of having sex is like the whole weekend, right? It's an umbrella policy.
That's how that works.
Totally. And we learn more about Raleigh. Everett gets him to open up about his family, and it's just like terrible, His parents were really awful, and his brother he doesn't really talk to anymore, even though he really wants to. And he's like mired in addiction and all the business.
Oh yeah.
And he wouldn't tell Everett earlier because he's like, you can just make up whatever you want, I can be a Vanderbilt. I've got the cashmere sweaters. And Everett's like, no, but now I really want to know about you. And Raleigh goes, so that if anybody asks? And he's like, no, because I want to know about you. And it's just the sweetest. And yeah, they're like snuggling. They're watching Fast and the Furious together because it comes on cable. And Raleigh is just thinking like how well Everett feels in his arms, like snuggled up to his chest. And it's like just fucking gorgeous, okay? It's wonderful. So the next day, Raleigh decides to go for a run. And on the run, he calls his BFF Hutch, the soccer player from the previous book, to be like, uh-oh, what am do? How handle this? And Hutch finally is like, well, first, Hutch's mind is blown. Everybody's mind is blown because neither of them have told anybody about like the updates to their relationship dynamic, you know, other than the fact that they're going to do this charade.
He's like, I caught feelings like I caught a touchdown. Help me.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And Hutch says, you got to just ask him out and be really transparent with him. You need to just like put your heart out there. And he's like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to lay my heart on the floor for Everett. Like, this is the weirdest, terriblest. Blah! But he's going to do it.
What if he does another awful tirade about TBIs and how awful football play? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, it's going to take guts to do it.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. So when he gets there, though, Everett's in the shower and he suggests that Raleigh join him. And Raleigh thinks to himself, I can talk to him anytime. You know, like right now, it's the shower times. We're going to do shower stuff. So that gets tabled. Then Everett goes out to have mimosas with just the friend group before the ceremony. And he finds out that everybody is a little bit more irritated with Noah than he originally thought. You know, everybody's like kind of sick of Noah's shit. And then they're all like, but also Raleigh, like, do not let this one go. He's so wonderful for you. And you like glow beside him. And he talks about you in such a sweet way and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to let him go. And he's thinking like, how do I do that when I don't even have him? So he goes on a thinking walk around the hotel grounds and he ends up on the tennis courts. And he's like, well, this is much fancier than I thought this place was. So then a voice comes from the side and Noah approaches him being like, oh, wow, you know, I'm so glad that I finally caught you by yourself. And he's like, oh, hi, Noah. And basically Noah's like, I've missed you and I still have feelings for you and I want you back. And he says, I have a boyfriend. And Noah's like, but what's your heart telling you? And
that you're a big old dickweed.
Well, he says, I mean, that you have a boyfriend too. And Noah says, no, we broke up a month ago. We're just going in separate directions. I need somebody, like, I think we're too similar, Gavin and I. I need somebody that grounds me and all this stuff. And he says, I just asked him to do this, like, as a favor to save face. And Everett is reeling, obviously. Like, this is something that he has wanted for a really, really long time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but he knows that, like, it's not right, you know? Then they get interrupted.
Real. Like,
it's also not real. Yeah.
Continue.
So then they get interrupted because of like Noah's film agent calls or something. And he's like, can we circle back to this later? Like, I'll find you before the ceremony. And Everett's like, oh, okay, man. And he goes back to the hotel room. Raleigh is laying there in a Huskies hoodie. And he's watching, I think, A Midsummer Night's Dream on cable. One of those movies of it. And he's like, are you watching Shakespeare right now? And he's like, yeah, I don't really have any idea what anybody's saying, but I know what's going on. And Everett's like, he's so fucking cute. I don't know what to do with myself. But then he explains to him and he's like, the weirdest shit happened. Tells him all about Noah. And then Raleigh looks at him and he sees his face like sort of go blank again. And he's like, so are you going to get back with him? And Everett sort of pauses and he goes, you should get back with him. I mean,
Raleigh, no.
You like him. He likes you.
No.
I'm only here because you wanted to, you know, get him back or impress him or something. You know. So, yeah, you should go for it. You should go for it.
I feel like that cat that's like, meow, 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 meow.
Yes. Yeah. So Everett's crestfallen, and he's like, okay, I guess thanks for the pep talk. And Raleigh's like scrolling social media now. And he's like, yeah, no problem. And Everett leaves confused and a little heartbroken and sad. And so he calls the friend group. They all FaceTime. And the friends like talk him through everything that's happened, including like the whole story, because they don't know that they're fucking at this point, right? And one of my favorite lines in the whole thing, and it's just like quintessential Everett's voice. He says that he told them everything. I talked so much that I also regretted not bringing lip balm. Master storyteller that I was, my friends were transfixed, barely blinking. So anyway, by the end of it, he's like, I really want Raleigh, but he doesn't want me. And then from out, stage left in the muffled background of the friend's side, he hears, yeah, he does. And then everybody's like, Hutch, what do you know? And Hutch tries to backpedal really hard. Mm-hmm. And finally, his boyfriend Amos is like, look, man, Everett likes him. And so if Raleigh likes him back, then you need to dish everything so that they can find a way to be together. And so Hutch tells him, he's like, he really likes you. And he really wanted to tell you this morning. And like, we talked about it when and so Everett's like, and then I go in and I tell him all about Noah wanting me back. Like, of course he shut down. Of course. So he's like, I'm going to go tell him about my feelings, but first I have to dump Noah.
Melody.
Yeah.
You remember that time?
Uh-oh.
When we did a quickie, or a catch-up, at the beginning of this year. Actually, 6 months ago, almost.
Yeah.
To the day. Mm. And you told me about the roommate hoax or the whatever.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And then less than 7 days later, I'd read 9 books of both series. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not sorry about it. And I'm not sorry that you're going to go on the identical journey with AJ Truman now. Frankly, I think you need it.
I think I do too. I just like the more you tell me, the more you describe that. And to be fair, I've already downloaded AJ Truman's first book.
Yep.
And
excellent.
Here we go.
Excellent. I cannot wait for you to report back.
Like, do you ever just like something happens and it's like you can look into the future? It's like, that's so right. And it's like, and all of a sudden you just look into the future and you see yourself 7 days from now and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Yep.
This is
covered in chip debris.
Covered in what?
Chip debris. Crumbs. Because you just get so stuck in the rabbit hole that you can barely feed yourself or function.
What is chip debris?
Like you get potato chips and you crunch into them and then they like, they crumb onto your shirt. What are you talking about?
Is that a thing? Is this a term?
Yes.
Chipped brie?
Well, it's a term I use.
Like brie,
Man,
not brie like the cheese?
Debris.
Debris. Chip debris, not chipped brie.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense. I was like, I don't think you should be eating the brie if it's crunchy like that. I don't think, like, I was like, I'm not one to be hard on a sell by or expiration date, right? But like, there are some things that I won't do, and
there are limits.
I think that hard brie is
crunchy
one of them.
Brie. Yeah, that's fair. Unless it's like a walnut, then fine. The brie can crunch.
But like, not the whole thing. Okay. Anyway, chipped
No,
brie.
but there can be a crunch in your brie. What did I say the other day that had you cracking up? Now I can't remember.
I mean, what day?
You asked me if it was like a phrase or if it was something only I say, like today. I don't think that chip debris is something only I say.
No, now that I know you're saying chip space debris instead of chipped space brie. Yeah, no. That's yeah. Do you understand my confusion now, though?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
I never would have gotten out of that quicksand. Jesus.
Podcast@gmail.com. How do you take your brie? Hard?
Yeah.
Crunchy?
Do you do a crunch to brie?
Do you like a crunch in your brie? Anyway, continue.
So, anyway, he goes up to Noah's room and he's like, I don't want to be with you. And Noah is like, I mean, you shouldn't be monologuing. You know, we should have a conversation about this. And then at another point, Everett starts rambling about something and Noah just gets this like bitchy look on his face. And he's like, why don't you just stop talking? And finally, he says, okay, well, fine. If you don't want to be with me, that's fine. Why don't we just have one more roll in the hay? Because I know you've been curious about it. And Everett's like, ew, pass. And then Noah says, well, then give me back my script. And he like snatches it out of Everett's hand to the point that he gives him like a pretty gnarly paper cut. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh my God, like, do you have a Band-Aid or anything? And he gets closer to Noah and he's like, Everett, I'm wearing a white shirt. Like, don't come near me with that. And then he like points to the nightstand where there are tissues. And so Everett's like, all right, fuck that and fuck you. Goodbye. So he goes back up to the room where Raleigh's getting ready.
Oh, okay. Raleigh's getting ready. I was afraid Raleigh was going to be gone. Raleigh was like, I have to leave. My heart's broke. Okay, continue.
No,
oh my God.
Raleigh's getting
He's
ready.
Be so worried about the paper cut.
So he gets up to the room and he's like, Raleigh, I really want to talk to you. And Raleigh's like, we can do it after the ceremony. Like, it's going to start really soon and you still have to get dressed. And then he can't figure out why Everett has one hand in his pocket and he's trying to do like unpack his bag with only one hand, you know? Mm-hmm. And Raleigh's like, you know, it would probably be easier if you did that with two hands. And so Everett pulls out his other one and Raleigh sees that it's like covered in blood-covered tissues. And he's like, what's going on with that? What's happening there? Like, let me help you with that. And he's like, no, it's fine. I'm just going to get a Band-Aid from the front desk. And Raleigh's like, no, I brought a whole first aid kit with me. Like, you come here and we're going to doctor you up in the bathroom. And what happened here? And he's like, oh, you know, Noah just like gave me a paper cut. And then Raleigh gets very still and he goes, Noah did this? And Everett's like, yeah, I mean, he just like grabbed the script too hard. And he's like, Noah hurt you? And he's like, yeah, I guess like it stings. Yeah. He's like, Noah made you bleed? And he's like, well, I think that's true. And he's like, Noah made my boyfriend bleed? Like, you better follow me downstairs. And so he goes downstairs and he commandeers a golf cart and he's trying to fast and furious his way to the ceremony to like confront Noah about hurting his boyfriend, hurting the man he cares about. And so he like fully gets him by the lapels off the ground, being like, you better apologize to Everett and you need to promise to treat him better. If you two are going to give it another go, then you have to promise to treat him better. And you need to apologize for what a jackfruit you were in college and like how mean you were to him. And Noah is just like, he's like stammering and he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, it was an accident. And finally, Everett is like, Raleigh, I don't want to be with him. Just because he and Gavin broke up doesn't mean he's going to slot me in. I want to be with you. And then from stage right, Gavin comes out of the woodwork and he's like, I'm sorry, Gavin and Noah broke up? Mm-hmm. We didn't break up. We're scheduled for a couples cruise in the spring. And Noah's like,
oh my God, I thought you were fucking up names. Oh my God, you weren't.
No. And Noah's like, baby, I thought we were in an open relationship. And then Gavin goes, just because you screw around with choir boys on the side thinking I don't know doesn't mean we're in an open relationship. And he's like, you want to be broken up? Fine. And as Raleigh puts him down, he comes up to him and he punches him in the stomach and he goes, thank God I took that stage fighting class. And he leaves. Gavin is gone. So then the brides are like, hey, we're getting married in 8 fucking minutes. Everyone needs to get their shit together because this is not about you.
Drama to a minimum.
Yeah. And Raleigh is like, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad about this. And then they're like, Everett, you go get dressed again. And like, we're going to start the thing on time and like get here as soon as you can. So Raleigh is freaking out because he's like, I ruined everything. He wanted to be with me, but I ruined everything by just like being an asshole. And I can't believe it. So Everett goes and gets dressed and then he comes out and Raleigh's like, oh my God, you look so good. But also I'm so sorry. And Everett's like, you know what? We don't have time for this. Like, come on, we got to get back to the ceremony. But as we go, I am going to tell you that, like, don't be a dummy. I want to be with you. Like, I went through all this stuff and we did all these things. And I told Noah that he needed to go take a hike because I want to be with you. And Raleigh's like, really? You do? And he's like, yes, I'm basically mush over you. Keep up. And then Raleigh's like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, I want to be with you, too. And he's like, I know. I understand that. Keep up. And they keep on, like, going.
That's very cute.
It's so cute. Yeah. So they end up doing their scene. They get married. They have the best, like, the brides get married. They have the best time at the reception. Noah keeps on being just a dumbass. He's, like, hitting on a waiter now, you know. And Everett thinks to himself, he just wants somebody to look down on. That's all he wants. So the last couple of chapters are 2 months later, and he's putting on Into the Woods. He's got a whole cast and crew, because the week they got back from the wedding, Raleigh went on a public relations campaign on behalf of the theater department, announcing over like the morning announcements and in every single one of his PE classes and like all over everywhere.
He supports his love and his passions.
Yeah. And so it got the stigma stink off of the theater department. And so people actually started to be interested and they started auditioning, including several jocks and 2 football players in particular. And God, it's so cute. And like every single show is sold out because Cal, the scout leader, the voiceover guy, he recorded a couple of radio advertisements for free for them so that the whole town is excited about it. And he's just like, yeah, we worked so hard and I can't believe that this is like real, you know? Oh, it's the best. And yeah, I mean, there is one moment, hold on, that I just have to read to you completely.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very necessary. They're in bed, I think the morning of the play, and Raleigh's trying to do some foreplay on him. And he says, fuck me, Raleigh. And he's like, what about foreplay? He's like, I won't last. So Raleigh says, you want to cut to Act 1 and go right to Act 2? And then Everett says, while I think it's so hot that you just used a theater metaphor, if you don't rush my end zone now, I'm going to have you ejected from the game and I'll hit the showers by myself.
That's very cute.
It's so cute. It's so cute. So the play goes beautifully, obviously. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, Raleigh gets, he goes back, or Everett goes backstage to like, see the lay of the land and make sure everybody's there, but nobody's there. And then he hears a voice from like the dressing room. So he goes over and Raleigh has gathered all cast and crew and everybody, and he's gonna do like a pump-up speech like he would before a game, even though directors don't really do that. I know. It's so cute. It's so cute. Yeah. And then the last line of the book, which was also very important to me. What? There's a bonus scene. There's a bonus chapter in the, I cannot wait to read that. I'm pretty sure they're married and like thrifting together or antiquing or something.
Oh my God, that is adorable.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. So they're at this holiday party with all of their friends. And the last couple of lines are, what are you thinking? I asked of the serene smile on his face. That things are good. In this moment, things are good. And then Raleigh says, yeah, they're singing, dancing, friends hanging out together, 2 people falling in love. Oh man, this is just like the ending of Mamma Mia. End book. End audiobook at least.
That's very cute. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the epilogue is a few years later that I need to read.
I'll be joining you. I will be.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
On my way. All right.
Super stoked about it. All right, Sabrina, what's your lady love?
My lady love is, and this is so funny to me. My lady love is Minecraft.
Ooh.
I have been playing Minecraft. I started playing Minecraft when it was still in like beta, right? Like back before it was like, whatever. I'm an OG Minecrafter. Like, And I would go through like phases, you know, like anything else in my life, where I did a lot of it. And I haven't played in years. And it kind of got to the point where I just didn't. Every time I came back, it was so different that it was like, fuck, like getting back in, like, oh God, I felt ancient. I felt like ancient. And then some of my friends have a server and a mod pack and all of these things. And so, and it's like just a constant server. So like paid for. So it's just live always. And there's a fun mod pack. It's like Prominence or Providence or something like that or whatever. And we just play together, you know, or like you can play solo. You can show up and just kind of like make your little thing on your own or like whatever. Yeah. But it makes me so happy because Minecraft, it's so much fun. I forgot how much I love Minecraft. And I love being at a point in my life where we can afford to just pay for a server instead of having to deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so good. It's so good. Like, so like, I guess like Minecraft is the lady love because I forgot just how much I fucking love Minecraft, but also just having a place on the interwebs where you can just pop in and play a game and play on your own, but you can also go adventuring and exploring and just living your best life. What about you, Mel?
I love it.
What's your lady love?
My lady love is, boy, I got out the pressure washer for the first time in this.
Vein popping, baby.
Oh my God. First time in these, the warm months. It's taken me a while. And I've been doing so much, like, I ripped out a whole garden bed and like there's been so much going on that my front yard especially was an absolute train wreck, like mud on our driveway and like all this stuff, right? But we're hosting this weekend for July 4th. And I was like, I can't have all of my friends show up and like have my yard look like this. Like I can't do it. So yesterday I spent all day cleaning up. Like I wheelbarrowed a bunch of shit out of the front yard and then I pressure washed everything. I did the whole driveway. I did the front walk. I did the front steps. I did like the patio around the garage. I did the stepping stones in the backyard. Boy, I pressure washed fucking everything. And it felt incredible. Amazing. Yeah. Because like the back of my house especially, it's pretty wet here. And the back of my house is north facing. So you can't really tell a lot of times that there's like algae or moss or whatever that will build up, especially over the winter. And so I would put like one stripe in there and it would turn into a completely different slab of concrete. And I was just like, oh shit. Like it didn't look that bad when I was used to it, but everything looks pristine now. And there is nothing that makes me feel more accomplished than pressure washing.
Pressure washing? Like the one time I've used a pressure washer, I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to be like a deity. This is what it feels like to be a god. Like, yes.
This is the eraser in Microsoft Paint in real life.
Oh my God. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Oh. Yeah. Very
it's
satisfying.
Incredible. So yeah, I felt like I was a god. Yeah. And I did it until like after dark, to the point that I was like, I just have to finish, otherwise I'll go crazy. So I had like my phone flashlight out, finishing the last of it last night. And it was the best. So that's my lady love. Power washing.
Hey, I love
that.
All
right. Keep being a badass. And
love yourself as much as you love giving into peer pressure.
Ooh.
And already downloading the first book in an author's back catalog that you purposefully hadn't picked up because you knew it would take over your reading.
Keep being a badass and love yourself as much as you love the friend who enables you to spend 2.5 hours talking about something that was supposed to be an hour only.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's
love
great.
yourself. Love yourself as much as you love finding ways to equate theater and sports.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, love yourself as much as you love that word that means smushing two words together.
A portmanteau?
Yep.
Portmanteau? Yeah. Yeah. Love yourself as much as you love Einstein in utero. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening. Next week, we'll be back with another Quickie-style episode, this time done by Sabrina. She'll be telling me all about the Monster Mates series by Ivy Sparks. Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by me, Melody Carlisle. Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by the ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. That one small action is a huge way to help the show. If you want to get in touch with us for advertising inquiries or anything else, you can email us at heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. See you next week.